Hey everyone, and welcome into the first inaugural episode of Fundrated. We're going to be looking at two projects today coming from Kickstarter. They both involve bars and alcohol, and if you're not into that, that's okay. I'm not either. But we're going to still take a look at these two things and see how they stack up. The first one is called Because of the Bar. It's basically a documentary telling the story of this guy, I guess, that is a bartender.
I chose bartending over porn because I can bang more chicks probably at the bar than doing porn.
And it begins with a rather outbursting start, I guess.
I am Michael Smith, better known as Lummox. I'm your priest, I'm your shrink, your entertainer, I'm your wingman, your best friend, and the one part of this bachelorette party you will never forget. All this is because of me, and because of the bar.
So I think that you got the idea, even from watching that much of the trailer, that you can understand that this documentary is kind of a parody of itself. It plays on a lot of the usual documentary characteristics, but it's about something that seems to be really far out there, which is bartending. I do think that this could be a great concept. If the mic worked a little better, you can hear the mic cuts. Nobody's fading that. I have no idea why.
Michael Smith, better known as Lummox.
So it almost seems like throughout the trailer and from just reading the Kickstarter page, the stories are very secretive. They're very, kept behind the paywall in a sort of way. They really don't even give you an example story. I've been looking through this thing here, and they actually give you like a teaser picture where they show Lummox, I assume the bartender, pushing another guy in a cart. I have no idea why, besides the fact that the guy, you could argue that guy may not be real. He has a little bit of a mannequin look to him. Regardless, they are teasing us a lot, and I hope that it would intrigue people to want to see what the final documentary could turn out as, but because the trailer leaves so much to be told, later, I don't know if people are going to want to jump on funding this. Now, I'll tell you that at the time that I recorded this video, the funding had just ended about 20 hours ago, did not meet its goal of $18,000, but it did raise over $6,000, so there was some significant interest in this. Now, I did put in a price table of where all the money needed to be spent, and I kind of found the price table to be ridiculous, and here's why. Because to make this video with Lummox, just the trailer alone, obviously, I would assume the film producer is somewhere near him, can't possibly live that far away from him. So to have to travel around to a lot of other bars like they want to do, try and make the story better, I don't know if that's necessary. I think that every bartender you come across, particularly Lummox, has got quite a few stories to tell. Probably you're already covered to make at least a YouTube channel or a web series, and while those may not pay out as well as the documentary, we'll get into the pricing later, I do think that those could be great other options to spend your $6,000 on. Now, I don't think FlexPay was on here, so they won't actually get the money, so the $6,000 is kind of a wash. Now, as far as their risks and challenges, this becomes another red flag to me here. They tell that they've actually taken on more than one documentary project, this Fancy Toast documentary creation company. They've taken on more than one project at a time that had their sponsors back out on them. And they kind of seem like they turned to Kickstarter as a last resort and as a way to sell their merchandise. And if you're on Kickstarter trying to promote your product by selling the merchandise as kind of like a way, if you're using Kickstarter as your platform to sell your DVD, that's a problem because it's an overinflated price. People know that once it comes out, it'll be cheaper. And more or less, they don't want your t-shirt. There's so many different ways to get a t-shirt on Kickstarter. People don't want them. So what do I expect coming out of the reward tiers? I expect exactly that. T-shirts. Now, most of the time, the t-shirts will run you, about $10 more than the product is worth. This is different because for $25, I can get a digital copy of the movie, which more or less is not costing them anything to send out because it's not even in a case or burned onto a disc. And they will include a tattoo, which I think is probably the first time I've ever seen that. For $50, I can get a bottle cap opener that probably ran them just a few dollars to even, print their name on. And I also get a digital copy of the movie and that tattoo that they very much talk up. And then for $100, I can get that t-shirt that you guys all wanted, to show that because of the bar, you got a t-shirt. So All in all, I do think that a documentary concept of this kind could be a good one. This could be successful. A guy like Lumax, I think, is actually a perfect guy to be fitting for this type of thing. He's got a little bit of a sense of humor, and he's got a lot of experience under his belt, but I do think that this is a project better suited for a web series or a YouTube channel, and you can't make as much money doing that. Maybe you can't add as good of production values, but from the quality that I saw in the trailer, that's good enough for a YouTube video, and that's good enough, without having to travel around and spend thousands of dollars. Do I think become successful with Lumax, being the real storyteller of this thing? And now the other thing is a run-of-the-mill concept on Kickstarter. You see tons of these. They don't stop coming, and they probably never will until people finally stop giving them money. And they're called board games. My dad always said I had too many of them when I was a kid. Turned out that even before Kickstarter we had too many board games. We still have too many board games. There's way too many games in my phone for me to want to play a board game. And if you think that it's some kind of sick social idea where you'll get a better social conversation going in a board game, it's not there, because you buy a board game and you never play it. This one is called Bar Fight. Comes out of Hong Kong. There's some currency conversions here in terms of this, but they did want a goal of $5,800, which for a board game made out of paper and cardboard, this seems ridiculous. But I thought, what the heck, we'll dive into the video. We'll see if this is actually any good.
In a dark and stormy night, a group of people has gathered on the Midtown bar.
I would hope that your first problem here is, why is the bar called Head Blown, and why does it look like it belongs on a Sesame Street set? But you know what? That doesn't matter. We're talking about a board game.
Head blown. Someone here to get drunk. Someone here to flirt with the ladies. Someone here to perform secret tasks.
To me, if you hadn't looked into it like I had and figured out this was coming out of Hong Kong, you should have expected it, because I don't really like the character models. It's very Asian Pacific style character models that we're seeing here, and I don't like that. But again, I'm getting a little bit too picky. This is a board game, and it's going to come on paper.
Basically, all you need to do is to survive in 3 chaotic rounds. Each round consists of several turns. At the start of each turn, each player draws a random number card without disclosing it to others. Player has to play a card with it facing downward. Once all the players have played his own card, each player has to move his card to the target number simultaneously. Players are allowed to bluff and pretend to be holding other numbers. Players keep getting a number card, playing a card, and targeting a number, until all the players have played rest and go to second round.
And as you see the rules explained here, number one, maybe I just haven't played enough board games recently, but I don't understand the rules. And number two, I don't understand why a game about bars is ages 8 and up. That caught me, because when I saw this game, based on the title, my expectation was, this is something that the bars will buy and they'll put out, get the customers, wanting to stay at the bar longer, because they'll be playing this sick board game that looks like a cross between Yu-Gi-Oh!, Go Fish, and a child's number game.
In this game, you can punch to destroy your opponents, buff to enhance your card, dodge attack from your opponent, dig in to heal yourself, equipped to increase your damage or to protect yourself. As the fight goes on, players went down one by one. Whoever survived the game win and earn the reputation of Drunk Slayer, Bar Protector, first of his name.
I really don't understand it. Maybe it's because I didn't take enough time to, but I don't like the art style. I don't like the fact that you need $5,800 to make your board game. And I don't like the $17 price point. Now, you could say, oh, Bailey, $17 is a good price on a board game. Some of them are so much more expensive. Say Munchkins, a lot more expensive. But there's a lot more to do with Munchkins. This game, to me, is just another board game. It's probably got a concept stolen from another Hong Kong board game. I don't know, but that would be my assumption. The concept seems too bare bones. It's not structured at all towards the bar. If you guys saw, the fighting part is really the only part that has anything to do with the bar. Beyond that, the game could have been called Playground Fight, and it would have been the same game. there's no real aspect to it that involves drinking or that's going to draw in those kind of people that I would think would be the ones that want to play it. Well, that's going to wrap it up for our first episode of Fundrated. If you enjoyed, be sure to leave a like and press that subscribe button, if you want to see more of these in the future. But I'm going to be leaving links for both these down below. That's going to be a customary thing I'm going to be doing every time. I would give the Because of the Bar documentary about a 6. Like I said, I think that could go somewhere. But 6 out of 10 for me right now until you turn it into a YouTube channel or a web series. Cut that budget down significantly. The Bar Fight board game, I give a 3 out of 10. I personally, just because I have a distaste for board games and a bias in that fashion, would not throw any money at that. But it's really too bad, I think, to see that Because of the Bar documentary did not make its funding goal. And I think it's a little bit too complicated of an idea for what it's worth, because I think it had a lot of potential. Now, I will see you guys in the next episode.